He says he's gonna stop.
Like
I
it was
would have
just
to see his like future projects to
like I
agree with him stopping. Like I have a say in it.
right. Like
It's just crazy what music record, like who does what in music. I think it's crazy to me. Sorry,
sure.
Nathan, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just
But like one of my favorite. Oh, you said go ahead. and then kept talking.
Turn down for what?
What? Speaking of,
did you get a haircut, Eric?
Stone Cold Steve Austin had a WrestleMania match this weekend. That was pretty neat.
Like,
wasn't Logan Paul there and also like a part of it?
No, not the Stone Cold match. I didn't watch the Logan Paul shit.
Pat McAfee was a part of the Stone Cold stuff.
I watched that. Pat McAfee actually had a really good match. While I was watching it, I was like, oh, I forget that he's been a professional athlete for like decades.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He definitely
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, like he did a backflip off, like he got like suplexed off like the top rope into like a perfect backflip and like literally stuck the landing. No like knee shake, no like offside, like just stuck the landing. And I was just like, what? And I was like, God damn.
And then he like did a box jump to the top rope as well.
Yeah, and like I was just like, oh, okay, he's all right, whatever. But mainly, I was just super excited for Stone. We literally have a Stone Cold shrine in our house, so that was exciting to see. I was super mad that it happened a little bit though, because it was here in Arlington. I was like, if I would have known that was a thing, I would have just gone to WrestleMania. Didn't give a shit about anything.
I feel like there would have been last minute tickets.
Oh, there were. Like, I looked at tickets because Stone Cold's match was on a Saturday. They split WrestleMania up into 2 days these days. And I looked into getting tickets for Sunday in case he showed up or did something again, just out of curiosity. They were like $40. But I just was just like, whatever, I didn't. And then he showed up and stunned Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon. And I was like,
apparently, didn't Vince McMahon keep up his like thing where he can't sell a stunner worth of
fucking,
it was so bad. Oh my god!
Stone Cold kicked him to do the stunner, and like
he like flew
it's
back
also
with the
you
rope.
forget he's like a 70-something-year-old man.
Also,
like he like falls back. Or he falls to his knees. Stone Cold like basically picks him up, and then he's still like goofy old man, like not sure what he's doing, and he like falls back into the ropes, and then runs back forward and gets stunned. And like the whole time, Steve Austin has literally just got the biggest smile on his face. He's laughing so fucking hard.
Pat McAfee is probably a top 5 Stone Cold center for me.
Oh, dude, for sure. It was so good.
It was perfect.
Yeah, the dude that took it before him, I think his name is Austin Theory.
Yeah,
like, he took it really well too. He took it like a early 2000s.
Yeah, the pop up. Yeah,
like jumped 3 feet.
Yeah,
out of the sky, and was like kicking his legs and fell. I was like, nice. That's how I want to see somebody get stunned.
Yeah.
I just saw a clip of Logan Paul doing a frog splash, and it made me happy. That was about it.
He looked pretty good from the clips that I saw.
His outfit looks cool for like a guest
spot.
How
much training he went through. He wore a $5.6 million Pokemon card.
True.
Around his neck. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's how much it's worth, but that's how much he paid for it.
Oh, it's the only. I just saw a video on it. Right, it's the only Jim Minton Pikachu Illustrator card out there, and apparently it was part of a lot that was graded like a decade ago, and that was back when they graded it kind of lacklusterly. So I saw a video of the card and I was like, that was graded a 10 because you can see, I don't know if it's etching in the face of the plate or if it's etching on the card, but you can see there's like distinct black marks that run through it. And someone had did like a close up of like the corner. One of the corners is kind of frayed, and it's just like if it was graded in today's market, it wouldn't be a 10. If it
was a print error, usually those are pretty expensive too. Because there's a C3PO trading card for New Hope, and it was a print error, but it looks like he has a dick, and everybody wants that card.
No, this is
like whenever he's going down for an oil bath.
Yeah, no, this one's not like a print error. I would say it just doesn't look like anything specifically. It looks like the card was kind of just not the best card, but it was still graded to 10. So
yeah, Logan Paul doesn't look like he's the type of guy that takes great care of his shit. So like that's.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. He bought it. It was already graded when he bought it. Send it whenever you go send something graded to. I can't remember.
PSA?
Yeah, PSA. They'll put it in a case.
They'll send it back to you in a case.
They'll send it back to you.
Really?
Yeah, like if you want to break it open, you have to legit break the fucking case to get the card out of it.
Oh, word.
It's locked forever unless you take a hammer to it.
It's like
Life
Germo.
case.
Germo, some.
Not hydrophobic.
Like they make windows like that are like.
Damn, I know.
Basically airproof.
I feel like I knew what it was until you said what is it, and now I can't.
Whenever Jessica Jones captured her first bad guy, she put him in one of the tanks, and the reason that he couldn't control her is because
the bear. Oh.
Yeah, literally nothing from inside the
hermetically
tank got
sealed.
Hermetically, yes. But it's spelled with a G, right? Because it's supposed to be germ.
I don't know.
It's just like ha in Spanish, you know?
It's like posthumously. Like posthumously is just posthumously. But when you put the two words together, the H becomes silent and it becomes...
I know some of these words.
Yeah. So like posthumously means like it's given to you after death. So most of the like Medal of Honor winners get it posthumously, which means they were never really got it, quote, like they were dead when
they got it because they're dead. Because they did something
heroic that cost them their life.
Yeah.
It's more of a Call of Duty guy, so I don't really know.
He prestiged, bro, but he had a terrible KD.
I remember one time whenever I got summoned for jury duty, whenever you have to fill out that questionnaire, it says if you have any military status or ever served in the military, I put yes, and they said what was your rank, and I was like 3rd prestige in Black Ops 1. They still called me in, so I don't know. I don't know why they did that.
Read stuff. But also, I want to rewind a second, because if in a real world scenario, anybody who was in the military that died has an amazing KD, right? Because you only get to die once.
But the ones who don't die, they have a killer KD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps pulling up.
I was gonna say, I don't know why it's so fucking mundane, but I've always like I don't, because it does seem inconvenient, but I've always low-key wanted to be like serve on a jury, just because like, what if it's something interesting, you know? But I feel like it'd just be like, this dude's not paying his child support or some shit like that. I'd be like, oh, fuck them kids.
Guilty.
I don't care.
I don't feel like those go to
probably not, Kyle, but it's
juries.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty straightforward.
Right. For sure.
Like, I don't think you get to take your speeding ticket.
I just couldn't think of another
panel of 12
mundane, juryable offense.
The next time I get a speeding ticket, I'm taking it to court and I'm going to tell the judge. I want to be judged by a group of my peers. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hear that, like, if it's a big one, like if you get a massive one, the cops don't show up anyway. Right? Like if you actually contest it, right, and you... Because the officers are required to appear before the judge.
There are some cases where cops do show up, though.
No.
Just
but then what? You pay the ticket anyway? Yeah, like, what's the alternative?
Right.
Like, it's not like they give you a double ticket. Like, either they're enforcing it or they're not.
I don't know.
I guess you gotta waste your time. I hate going to the courthouse.
It might be your ticket plus, like, court costs or some shit now versus just paying your ticket. Government be doing some stupid bullshit like that all the time.
If I get a ticket, I'm just paying it, like, because you can do it online, and I'm not trying to, like, just mingle at the fucking courthouse. Like,
actually, now
the DMV
is probably best to try to contest the ticket because it's just all online. You go into a Zoom call.
I just when the
I feel like an officer's showing up to a Zoom call.
Will he though?
He whip up he's like sitting on 935, like zoomed in on his phone. Whenever we have like Zoom like parent teacher conferences, like not individual ones but like big ones for like the whole grade, there's so many motherfuckers just on their phone like walking around the supermarket and shit.
Yeah, super convenient, but also
agreed.
I don't know, like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to disrupt my entire day for like a PTA type meeting.
Oh no, I don't. I mean, I'm just at home doing nothing, no day interrupted. Can't interrupt doing nothing.
I just view having to like talk to people
Have kids?
as,
Terrible.
as a disruption in general.
So, obviously, we're in the month of April, and the first.
You gonna
of the
hit an
month,
intro?
I guess. Kyle, you fucking meta piece of shit. Welcome to the fucking SpaceBar podcast number 19. I'm Drew. That's Nathan. That's Kyle. That's Eric. So, in April 1st,
I mean, we
is
didn't
April
do it
Fool's
last
Day.
week.
It doesn't matter. Everybody knows who we are now. You think we have new viewers?
I mean,
Yeah, we had.
hopefully.
I bet we get new
We
viewers.
did get new viewers. But anyways, in the month of April,
In the month of April, first day of the year, first day of the month. Sorry,
April Fool's Day?
is April Fool's Day. Yes. So a lot of different things do different things for April Fool's Day. Something really cool happened this April Fool's Day. So Reddit has since 2015 done something for April Fools every year. So it started in 2015, and they had this thing called the button, and it was a subreddit. And when you go to the subreddit, it just was a button and then a counter that counted down from 60 seconds to 0. But every single user on Reddit could press the button once and reset the clock. So whenever you did that, whenever it came to the end of that little experiment, you got like a little badge. So if like you press the button in between 60 seconds and 45 seconds, you get like a certain color. Between 45 and 35, you get this color. So on and so forth to like the elite people, like between like 5 seconds and 0 seconds is whenever they press the button to restart it, which is pretty cool. And then I think the next year they did some chat room shit. That was like before Reddit had chat rooms. But in 2017 is when they started what happened this year, which is really cool. It's called r/place, which is subreddit called Place. And basically what it is a social experiment in a way to where it is a 1,000,000 pixel canvas, 1,000 by 1,000. And anybody can go in and change one pixel to whatever color within the 16 colors that they have. And so in 2017, whenever it started, it was just pure chaos. It was just like a bunch of colors in the middle and like some scattered out. And then people realized that they can coordinate and create pictures and create words. And that's what I think the first thing that ever was dick butt. If you guys remember that meme, dick butt, they just did dick butt. And then like a whole bunch of other stuff spawned. But they did it this year. And it was I don't know, very cool to watch. I don't know if you guys watched anything about it.
I watched a lot of it.
Anything.
I watched
I mean, I've seen it.
I watched a few streamers that would like coordinate and attack. Like XQC was big in on it, and so was Mizkif and like OTK, like all of them, and like who else? There's a couple others that were
Ludwig
like,
was in it.
Yeah.
Hassan Abi.
Yeah, a lot of like
them.
it was crazy to watch like them coordinate and attack. Like Mizkif, his community had created like a picture of like a kid and like I had a word under it. I can't remember what it said. But the French had attacked him and they basically took over the entire space and they made the French flag and an Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
And then he got his community partnered with another community to attack him or attack the French. And like they were so coordinated. It was crazy because as soon as like they had disrupted the French, they had already put it back.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is like so whenever it first started, like different like things that appeared this year happened. So like there's like big ones like the Rainbow Road was a big one, which was like the first big coordinated attack on the back in 2017, where it's just literally like a rainbow across the canvas. You have stuff like the blue corner, which it all started in the bottom right corner, and it was just a bunch of blue pixels just coming into the picture and taking over the whole picture. You have stuff like the Void, which is starts in the middle. It's all black and it just tries to eat everything. But that was like one of the cool things about it was this year was different content creators using their influence and their audience to like, it was just really cool to watch, like to coordinate and be like, all right, everybody, we're going purple now. If your name starts with an A, do purple. And they would just like create a lot of cool stuff. I might put it on the screen right here, but there was the canvas that started off by just 1,000,000 pixel canvas, 1,000 by 1,000, but it ended up being a 4,000,000 pixel canvas because there were so many people participating in it. There's like a lot of cool shit. Like almost anything that you can think of, video game, movie,
Colleges,
memes, colleges, professional sports teams. There's something in there that represents them.
it was really cool. A lot of people were saying that Osu the game, they
Mhm.
had bots.
That's what I was going to talk about. So since everybody could change an individual pixel, a lot of people were. France was also somebody who was guilty of
Yeah.
using bots, because at the end of it, what they do is they, instead of having 16 colors that you can choose, it's only one color and it's white. And as soon as they made that switch, like everything France had done immediately turned white. And while everything else was gradually turning white, like they were almost instantaneously all
Damn.
white. And it just kind of, it showed who was botting, which was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, I saw something about like there were mods that were botting as well. Like there was a video, like a 16-second video or something like that of a mod. Because I don't think you mentioned this, but you as a Reddit user, you got to change one color pixel every 5 minutes.
Yes.
So if you put a black pixel down, you have to wait another 5 minutes until you can put another color pixel down. And there was a video of a mod just going through and like changing something from like orange to black, but it was like back.
It was
to
a
back
Reddit
to back.
mod too.
Yeah, and he was like someone had followed him, and whenever you place a pixel, if someone else hovers over that same pixel, it shows who changed that color. So someone had like gone through and they were clicking each pixel after him that they had changed, and you could see the name stay the same. So it was kind of crazy to see.
It was, I don't know. It was just what really makes it cool is if you watch the time lapse of it, you just kind of see like all the little changes happening, and it's just kind of cool knowing that most of them are all actual human beings changing those pixels to make those pictures. And it was kind of cool just watching people like Miskif, XQC, Ludwig, and Hassan basically being like generals in an army or something, commanding people to change the colors, as well as like I've seen a couple of clips. Somebody was talking to Destiny, I think, and Destiny was like, well, we're gonna like take over this like little section. And then somebody else on the other side of the Discord calls like, listen, we've already made alliances with them, so if you attack them, that's an attack on us, and we have no choice but to attack you. And he's just like, well, I'm gonna do it. And he's like, well, then you're deciding to go to war right now. Like, we are going to combat you trying to change everything. I don't know, it's really cool.
It's insane. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I followed along. I placed one pixel, I think, and I was like, and it was a mostly white screen because it was like, I guess, like right after it had launched or something. And I just placed one white. I placed a black pixel just out in the middle of nowhere, and then I forgot to place another pixel because I was just too caught up in like watching everything change.
r/fuck cops. Fuck
It was
cars.
it was insane to see how much detail they could get into some of these like pixel drawings. Like if I saw it was like a bleach one or something like that, and if you didn't zoom in all the way, like it looked like it was just like curved lines and they weren't pixels. It was really crazy to see.
You can open the original and just kind of look at all of them. This is towards the end. This isn't the final product. I had it up and then I closed it, but.
Kyle, did you see that purple? You see that purple on Osu?
Yeah.
That was XQC. XQC had his group, and they had started like a spot, and you see how quickly it's coming back. But they started like a spot, and they went like across a lot of the board, and it was just all purple. And I was watching him live, and that was when he attacked Osu, and they went purple for a little bit, and then it was pretty quick that they come back.
And it's kind of it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but one of the things I like at the bottom is they have like a Windows XP.
Yeah, I saw that
taskbar, which is really funny.
It's so much. Like I feel like it would take
much.
So long.
Well, it's funny because whenever one of my and Clarissa's favorite streamers, Paymoney Wubby, was doing it, she was watching his VOD of whenever he was doing it. He has like two of them. It's a pretty prominent one and then one that's like tiny. But she was like, man, I really want to make a quilt out of this. And I was like, babe, do you understand how much you would have to do to even do a fraction of this? Like doing one like million pixel square would take you minimum 6 months. And I'm talking like if you did it like a job.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like
there was
like so much detail.
Shit, I was gonna watching people. Fuck, I don't remember.
So crazy.
It was definitely nuts. It was really cool to watch. Like just the detail that they got in there. Oh, people would so like big streamers they would have an image over the spot of where they wanted, and then they would just change the opacity on the image, so it would, be like a 50-50 kind of see through, and then they would just attack it. That's how a lot of them got such detailed images. That was really cool to see as well. I think towards the end, XQC and his group did a cow, like a blue cow. It was kind of funny. And it stayed around for a minute, but like that Star Wars one is crazy depth, crazy.
And it was all no one like it was just left alone the whole time.
Well, that's the thing is like things you really can't fuck with Star Wars, man. Come on now.
Yeah, there were some to where like they didn't touch. Like most of the top left of the picture wasn't really fucked with. It was mainly stuff like on the right side of the page, and then everybody was trying to fuck with France at the bottom left. But they were botted the fuck out, so there was nothing anybody could really do. But like literally, you can go in like, if you're looking at the bottom left of France, little green square with the dude doing a salute. That's the streamer that I follow.
France took over quite a bit of the final board.
Yeah, they did.
Like I was watching it, and I had sent Emily because Emily had come in here like while I was working or something, and was talking about like because she's like, "What is that?" And I was like, It's this thing. It's hard to explain, but basically they put an image. Yeah, so that's the Ms. Kiff dude. This is Ratio. Yeah. And they ended up getting legs on him. And then it was only a matter of time before they go back. And that black square was given to them, and that's the face
they were doing a tribute to Rickroll.
Yeah, and if you look to the middle right from that white square, you'll see XQC's cow and rainbow. It's on the same level.
XQC and Ludwig did the Kobe Bryant one as well.
Naruto.
I think after that France image gets like fucked, they get crazy depth. Like it was a lot that they put into the next France image. It was really cool.
If you are watching on YouTube and you want to see what we're talking about, you can. If it's not already on the screen, we'll probably link it so you can kind of see what we're talking about.
They put the arch. They get the Louvre in there. They get a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, there it is right there.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cool shit in here. If you just kind of like go through and like, I think there's a Witcher one somewhere. I mean, right now I'm looking at one that has a Dungeons and Dragons.
It's all Bioware at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird that some spaces change and some were just like there the whole time.
Yeah.
I think it's
that's a weird thing.
It's like a treaties thing, right? So like if you kind of go through them, here I'll share my screen just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So like you can really click anywhere, but like sometimes you'll see. This is probably best to do it this way. So you see like these hearts. The hearts are just showing everybody who has a quote unquote treaty with everybody. So that's why they stayed. It's like you create yours, you make friends with everybody around you, and you'll stay there the whole entire time. And even if you get attacked,
just come in though.
Yeah, anybody can just come in, change the square. But then you have people that are like have no lives, and then will just stay up and just constantly change the square.
Yeah,
like
look at that fringe. Go. Let me see that fringe. That fringe corner. They got a baguette. I got so much.
So the France. So this France one
they got in
was really cool because whenever they had it up, this wine glass and wine bottle, they would like deplete it over time. So it was like they were drinking the wine bottle. That's so like funny. On the time lapse, you see it go like that, and it's really fucking
crazy.
Cool.
I know someone had Donkey Kong up, and when they got attacked, they drew Donkey Kong was holding a banana like that, and they drew a dick over the banana. It was quite funny.
I think Mizkif had the Donkey Kong for a while, but he ended up with he did this one for Rickroll, the duck. France gave him those squares, and then I thought he had an OTK one at the bottom.
He did for a minute.
I wonder what that QR code goes to.
The Flappy Bird one.
Where you see a QR code?
Is that just before this? Go to your right.
There's Chelsea Football Club. Aston Villa was right above that.
Oh, this one?
OU, SEC, Longhorns, Hook 'em Horns, baby.
Yeah. Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, I'm about to do the same thing.
YouTube. It's a YouTube video.
Is it?
A meat eater's
But-
case for veganism.
That's
I've been
funny.
debated.
Dude, that would have been the best one. It's just like a QR code to like Rickrolled or something.
Yeah, that's
That
definitely
would've
what
been
I thought that
hilarious,
was going
yeah.
to be once you said YouTube.
Did you
Ball
y'all
drop
saw
for
the
sure.
Dallas one, right?
Mm-mm.
So a bunch of guys like flew like 1,000 drones into a QR code in the sky on April 1st, and if you scanned it in the sky, it took you to the YouTube video of Rickroll.
That's fucking
In
great.
Dallas
I think
this
so.
year?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Gigs?
No fucking chance, bro.
inside joke.
Like Ludwig did this Kirby, and I think this is a tribute to somebody's
Solid.
dead dog. I don't know, but
SPQR. Got some Roman.
there's an Elden
Also
Ring
ended
one.
up staying.
There's
just
another
so
Elden Ring that I saw.
many.
Bro, I'm telling you, it was crazy to watch. It was really,
it's
really
the
cool.
next to the
It was just
Fence
really
Party.
interesting because it's like probably one of my favorite social experiments because like everything that you see here somebody did, and it wasn't just like one person. It was like millions of people got together and made this episode 3 Anakin and Obi-Wan clashing together on Mustafar. You know, it was a coordinated attack, and it was, I don't know. I think that's, to me, it's just super fucking cool.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree
Hey.
as well.
It,
There's a Dale Earnhardt. Raise Dale. Raise Hail, praise Dale.
praise hail, praise hail.
If
If you're listening and you have a chance to go look at it, go to Reddit and go to r/place. If you know how to use Reddit, it's just a subreddit. But
Go fast, turn left. Sorry, I'm still on that.
y'all said something about Ezra Miller, though. I have no idea what's going on with
Yeah,
that.
Shit
so
is nuts.
basically he got arrested, right? Like he got arrested in Hawaii for fuck. It was
Breaking
Shit,
into someone's home.
I thought he
and
hit a
giving
woman or
them a
something,
death
right?
threat.
I think that was
Yeah.
after he got arrested. I think he got arrested again,
You
but he
should-
got arrested
you should just-
previously for something else that was like also like just dumb and crazy. But I think once he got out, he went to someone's hotel and like
No, he was staying for whatever fucking reason. He was staying at a hostel.
oh,
And-
You should just play that TikTok. It's super detailed of the whole thing that happened from like start to finish.
I don't know what TikTok you're talking about.
I just sent. It's like probably the most. Just sent it at like 7:30. Literally, he did like it's not even just like an isolated instance. Like he went to jail like once, but besides that, it's like it was like 40 different things he did.
yeah, he stole someone's
It was
passport and like
wild.
threatened to kill them. Like
The people he was staying with.
yeah, it's insane the amount of things that
But
Ezra
long story
Miller
short-
done over the span of thousands of
Is
miles.
he a child star?
And I
He's
don't
just
know.
a child.
I mean, he
think
acts
so.
like a child. That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Usually, child stars are either they
I mean,
grow up
Macaulay
really quickly.
Culkin for one is the
Yeah,
biggest
or
name on
the-
that fucking list.
He's grown into like a pretty respectable dude these days.
I mean, yeah, but like, there's a lot of.
But he definitely
Shia
there was
LaBeouf
definitely
had a
like
crazy.
He's
bit.
marrying what's that chick from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
London Tipton,
oh yeah, the Asian Tipton.
Brenda Song.
London, yeah, Brenda.
Yeah,
He also
But,
dated
yeah.
Mila Kunis at some point.
damn.
Warner Brothers cut him. He's officially out of the Warner Brothers universe. He's going to be in the movie because it's already been completed, and he's going to be in the
Flash.
Fantastic movie because it's already completed.
Yeah.
But after that, Warner Brothers cut ties with him.
That's so
I think me and
unfortunate,
Drew
'cause I
were
liked him as
just
the Flash.
like,
I did as well.
I feel like me and Drew were talking about it maybe when we were on our way to see Batman or something. We were talking about like that's not even the first time he's done some weird shit. There was like a couple years ago where he just like pushed or like punched some chick at a bar. For like
He
no
took the
reason.
microphone. This was in the TikTok. He took the microphone from a woman singing karaoke and threw it at a guy.
Oh yeah,
in
I
the
heard about
crowd.
that. Yeah, he's
I think
definitely
we're talking
mentally
about separate
unstable. He needs
instances.
How do you have that much money? Well, I can't really. I like
mean-
Kanye West, so I can't really talk. But how do you have that much money and you're like that?
That's
out
a
of
lot.
pocket.
That's the craziest thing I don't understand
mean-
about like celebrities. In my very humble, very middle class opinion, right? Like, there's no chance that I'm ever going to be given the opportunity to make millions, hand over fist, and I have just money. Fuck you, money, basically, right? And I do anything that's gonna put my fucking self in any type of position where I'm gonna go to jail. Like, you have rappers that get pinched on gun charges, like Lil Wayne. There's no chance where Lil Wayne was the biggest rapper of the time. He gets pinched on a gun charge. You have fucking that Henry Ruggs. There's no chance at 4 a.m. if I'm making millions of dollars, I'm gonna get behind the wheel after leaving a bar and do 160 miles an hour in a Camaro or a Corvette.
Yeah. If I
Like,
can
if
afford,
if I want to do that, if I don't care about my life that much, I'll rent out a private track at any fucking time because I have the money to say, hey, open this track for me. Here's $50,000 and I'll kill myself there. Like, it's just, I mean, like, it's clear that you don't care about your life, right? Like, if you're going to get behind the wheel and do something like that. But
see, I think that's untrue.
Yeah, that's not fuck you money. That's like, I've got
fuck me
No,
money.
it's not even a money thing about the not caring about your life. It's just like a feeling of untouchability, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've been 142 down a highway, hypothetically, shit housed out of my mind, like at 3:30 in the morning, going 142 miles an hour in a fucking what was that, Challenger?
I've done the same thing in a Mini Cooper, but
Nathan, you were with me, right?
Yeah.
And Tanner?
Like, I don't care
It was me,
that
you, and
much.
Tanner?
Were you in your Camaro?
No,
No, we were
Tanner's
in
Challenger.
hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking. I think
That's right.
Hypothetically,
I
speaking.
wasn't there for that, but I think I was there the next day, either or the night of.
It's almost
Well, basically, the way that happened is, first of all, we were shithoused. It was the middle of the fucking
that's the only
night.
part of that's like basically the only part of the night that I remember. So this is
Hypothetically, this is hypothetically how it happened.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to
No,
talk about
for
how we
sure.
got into
I'm
the
just
situation.
curious.
So we're in the car, and Tanner was too drunk to drive, so he let me drive, and I was drunk as well, but I was able to drive, apparently, because we're not dead. Hypothetically, if I was drinking and driving, I would have been able to
Just
do it
go
that
ahead
night.
and say this whole scenario is hypothetical.
It's just
It's a joke.
an
It's just a
alternate
joke.
reality.
Yeah.
But basically, Tanner had just gotten this car. He probably had it for 6 months, maybe 8 months. I don't know how long he'd had it. But basically, like, I was driving and I was like, how fast does this thing go? He was like, oh, I've gotten it up to like 95.
Yeah,
Grandpa?
Some stupid number that I've gone in like my 96 Dodge Ram, right? I think I got that thing up to 105. And I was like, well, do you mind if we find out? He was like, I guess so. And so I just put my foot to the ground and just held it there for probably a solid minute or two. Like a long, because we didn't just like get to 142. Like we got up to like 110, and then it took a minute to like
get up to
get up the
140,
rest of the way, right? Because it's not like a supercar. Like it was a V6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oddly enough, that's how I blew the engine in my Beamer. I was at a bar in Arlington, and this was like in the early stages of Emily and I's relationship, and she's in Dallas doing whatever, and I'm in Arlington, and I'm like drinking. I think I'm at Rusty's or I'm at Caves or something. And she's like, you should come over right now. And I was like, it's late, like it's a school night. I think it was because I had to go to work the next morning. And she was like, but I mean, and I was like, okay, you said it, that's it. So I'm on 30, and I'm doing like $1.20. And then I pull out my phone and make a Snapchat because I still have the memory, hypothetically. And I just floor it. And I watch that motherfucker climb from like 120 to 150. And then I get to Dallas and I get off the highway and my car dies. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
No.
And I pull over. Like I had to
push.
I pushed my car into a Walgreens parking lot, waited 15 minutes. The car starts. I drive to her apartment, which is like a mile and a half, if that. And as soon as I park, the car dies again. I'm like, oh, this is not looking good. So the next morning I wake up, the car starts like nothing ever happened. And I was like, okay. And I'm on my way. And this was a diesel. And, you know, diesels get great gas mileage. That's the thing. Like if you're not doing crazy things in them, they get phenomenal gas mileage, depending on the car. So I'm doing like 70 in cruise control. And this motherfucker's getting less than 12 miles a gallon. And I'm like, ooh, this is really not looking good. I get off the highway, like I go to exit and I'm exiting and the car dies again. And it just doesn't start. And then it's smoking like crazy. And I threw a rod. And the dealership I bought it from was trying to charge me $13,000 to replace the engine. And I had the car 3 weeks. Yeah.
I have a similar story, except I didn't, none of which was my fault, but having a vehicle for a super short period of time. So I bought a motorcycle in 2014. I bought a motorcycle in 2014. I already had a vehicle, but I wanted something that had better gas mileage. And like back then I was single and didn't have any bills and had 3 fucking roommates, and so I had like a bunch of fucking money. So I went and bought this matte black motorcycle, a Ninja 636. I think it was like an '07, and this was like in 2014, so it wasn't that old. So I bought it, and it was a Sunday, and no, it was a Thursday.
I think it was in the middle of the week. It was definitely
it was a Thursday because I had it for 8 days, right?
8 days.
So I bought it, and I'm driving it around, and it's awesome. And I live in an apartment complex, and in my apartment complex, I have a designated spot for my apartment, and in that spot, we parked my truck. And the spot was big enough that if I backed my truck in, if you're a truck owner, know if you back up to a curb, you get more parking spot space because the bed sticks out so much further behind the back wheels. When you back up, you get space in the front of your spot. So I back all the way up, and I could park my bike in front of my truck perpendicular, right? So not parallel. They were at opposite
like I know
angles.
where this story's going.
And so I park it there.
Going that way.
And it's now a Saturday, so I've had it for 8 days. And me and Tanner and our caddy corner apartment friend Annie go out to the bar called the Library in Fort Worth, right?
The bar.
And we leave, and we come back at like 3 a.m, and we're shithoused. I wasn't driving, so this isn't hypothetical. And we get back to the apartment, and Annie drops me and Tanner off. She wasn't drinking at all. And dropped me and Tanner off, and we start walking up my stairs, and we stop, and this is right after I got Zoe too, so I just got my puppy. Sorry, not to backtrack, but we walk upstairs to get Zoe to let her out to go to the bathroom. So we go back downstairs, we sit on the bottom stair, and we're smoking a cigarette, and Zoe's gonna go to the bathroom, right, because she's a puppy. And we're sitting there, and our parking spot's right in front of our stairs, right? So we're sitting there, and we're fucking shithoused. It's like 3:30 in the morning. The dog's trying to go to the bathroom. Me and Tanner are smoking a cigarette, and Tanner's like, "Where's your bike?" And I was like, "Dude, it's right. I park it in front of my truck. It's right there." He's like, "That's your truck, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my truck." He goes, "Where's your bike?" I was like, "I parked it in front of my truck, dude. It's right there." And I don't know if I'm not looking or I'm just like shithouse. I don't realize, but like he's like, "Dude, your bike isn't there." And I'm like, and I guess my eyes focus or whatever, and I realize that my bike's not there. So now I'm shithoused at 3:30 in the morning, and I have to call the fucking police, and like we have to call like tow companies, because I thought maybe at first I was like very hopeful that the apartment complex like thought someone like maybe fucked somebody else over and like had it towed, but nope. And here's cherry kicker on top, right? So I pay off the lien on the bike, and I forget about it, right? A couple weeks go by, I don't hear anything from the cops. I'm like, whatever, I'm never gonna get it fucking back. 8 months later, I get the title and mailed to me because the bank never mailed to me after we paid off the lien, and they were doing a reconciliation of their files. And so like after I'd already forgotten about the bike and everything and moved on, like I get a big ass manila envelope, and I open it, and it's the title to my fucking bike that got stolen after I had it for 8 days.
Rip.
You got something 9 months later too, didn't you?
Yeah. The next day, Natalie told me that she was pregnant.
Damn.
Literally the next day, so like not even that. So like I wake up, I have to work the noon to 7, right? So I'm up until like 3:30 talking to the fucking cops, 4 o'clock talking to the cops. I'm hopeful I get my bike back, but it just got stolen, so that fucking sucks. So like I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to work at noon, right? At like 2:30, Natalie texts me and was like, "Hey, I really need to fucking talk to you. Can I come over tonight?" And so now I'm stressed about my bike. I got to spend the next 6 hours on my shift marinating that text message. You could have texted me 10 minutes before I got off. You have to text me 7 hours before you want to meet up.
To stew over it, bro.
Yeah, so I'm stewing over like 8 different things.
That's I
Good times.
whenever I lived in Arlington, North Arlington, I had a sticker on my car, but my car got towed, and like I wasn't sure that my car was getting towed because I had a fucking parking sticker on it. And the craziest thing, like they never punched a hole on when the sticker expired. So I wake up and I'm like, my car's gone. It's stolen. And I'm freaking out. I call the cops and like, "Are you sure it was stolen?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they checked the tow yards and they're like, "It wasn't stolen, bro. It was towed." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like, "No, it was just towed." And I was like, "No fucking chance." And
thank you, sir.
I had to pay it, and I called the office, and it was a shit apartment complex. Oh my god, it was so bad. But they were like, "There's nothing we can do about it," and I was like, "You didn't punch the fucking
It's
thing."
like there's absolutely something you can do.
Yeah,
about
100%. You could take this $200 off my
You gotta
fucking
run me
rent.
my
Like,
money back.
it was a crazy. I had like massive ants in my apartment. Some motherfuckers are like an inch long, and I'm allergic to like fire ants, and I have like an underlying allergy to like regular.
Do you
ants.
really have it? My brother, growing up when he was a kid, was allergic to fire ants, and I can't think
I'll
of
die.
a worse state to have that allergy.
Yeah, 100%. I got
Texas.
bit like in when I was 7 or something, and you know when you get bit by a fire ant, you get like a whitehead, right?
Mhm.
And so I got bit on like the ankle, and then my
His
whole
leg would
body
just
got
swell
covered.
up.
No, like my whole body
Oh.
was covered in spots. My parents thought I had chicken pox, and
That's like some peanut allergy level weakness immune system.
no, it's not because I can eat whatever the fuck I want to eat, bitch. Don't you
But-
ever dare compare.
That's something you can eat.
Don't you ever
God,
dare.
Honestly, I'm glad.
there'd be an ant in
I was
your
sad
house.
once the fire ants wiped out the air ants. You know,
Yeah,
I'll accept
Facts.
that one.
yeah.
I'm gonna call this podcast so quick.
Yeah. So, but I had to call pest control twice a week to like, because they say they spray, they never fucking sprayed, and then there was like an inch, not an inch, but like probably half a centimeter gap in between my door and the frame.
Was that like a big gap or
Yeah, half a
a
centimeter.
normal
No, that's
size
pretty
gap?
big.
So
I
big
feel
enough to
like
see
that's pretty
damn
big.
daylight through, and probably fit
So
like
that's not a small
a
gap.
10
right?
that's
a 10
above
piece
average
stack
for
of
sure.
paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Through,
Cool.
and they never
You say it's like
fixed
I don't think Eric
67
is
cents
catching
worth of a gap, or
Yeah.
It's a dick joke, Eric.
oh, I was making a sexist
Yeah, so
joke.
that was
Make it
it was a
sexy
huge
joke.
gap.
Eric is still mad about the ants, so he's stuck on the gap side.
Huge, it was a huge gap. Oh my god.
Mind the gap.
Mind the gap.
Yeah.
Shout out to
yeah.
my Chive members.
My brother
Facts.
would he would just like wherever they bid him, whatever appendage,
Appendage?
whatever
His
limb,
appendix exploded.
whatever limb he was
Appendage.
bitten on would just swell up
Yeah.
bad. Because I
I've
remember like
gotten-
one time he like his legs were covered in fire ants, and it was horrifying
Damn.
to look at his leg. Yeah,
I haven't been bit by a
Why
fire
Crazy
ant
how
since
words
then.
are like
Like,
related.
it's been,
It's interesting
over
that
20
you
years.
it's kind of interesting that you bring up your brother like getting swollen, I guess, because like my brother Aaron, the one that we live with, he was a Make-A-Wish kid. He had like, I don't know exactly what it is, but he had some like crazy rare blood disease when he was a kid. Like this motherfucker, we got a trip to Disneyland.
Where? Where'd you get a trip to?
To
What'd you just call me?
Disneyland. I was gonna say he got slimed on Nickelodeon because he did get slimed on Nickelodeon when they were cool and they did shit like that. But we got a trip to Disneyland, but I was like a literal infant, and I guess I was like crying most of the time, so we had to leave.
fucking annoying.
So I ruined that. But my mom sent
shithead,
me
honestly.
a picture of him. I'll show Drew. I mean, I guess maybe I'll show y'all later.
I'll just put it on the
But we
podcast, yeah?
no, I don't know if he would like that.
Oh yeah, we won't do that.
Yeah, yeah, but like she sent me a picture of him as a kid when he was like real sick, and he's like just very bloated and
Yeah.
like does not look anything like resembling like him at all. It's wild. I've never seen that picture until she sent it to me the other day.
You think like if you have a Make-A-Wish kid and then they survive, Make-A-Wish is like, all right, so you owe us about $10,000 for that.
So here's the bill for
Disney
this.
World.
That
I'll
Kobe
ask
jersey
my
didn't sign
parents.
itself, so we need money for the signature, money for the appearance.
Or you can just give us it all back, you know?
Yeah. Do they still do
I'll have
make
to
a wish?
ask him, 'cause
That's the little thing.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
Yeah, John Cena has granted the most Make-A-Wishes by like a pretty large margin of any person ever.
I don't know why, because you can't even see him.
Right? It's wild.
They just be like, "Hey,
Imagine wishing for nothing.
here's John Cena."
Have you seen that video?
Just point at the door frame. There's John Cena.
You see him? No, that's the point.
Of Scarlett Johansson getting slimed on the virtual MTV Choice Awards. So like, I don't know if it's like a
website
friend
were you
or
on,
her
Carl?
husband or one or whatever, but she's like on her cam and she's like accepting an MTV, like I guess it was a Kids Choice Award, and whoever the dude was like dumb and confused Nickelodeon for MTV and like made a bunch of homemade green slime, and she's like accepting the award and he dumps it on her like during the thing.
Do you know who
He's like,
Scarlett
"Hey, you got
Johansson's
slimed."
husband is? It's the white
No.
dude from the Weekly Report on SNL. I can't think of his name.
Oh,
I don't watch
Colin
SNL.
Jost.
Yeah, that's her husband.
Unfortunate. Well, it's probably him. Then that would make sense if he works on SNL. It seems like an SNL-y type skit.
Unfortunate.
But she was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm sliming you." And she was like, "That's Nickelodeon."
The MTV Choice Awards were my favorite awards growing up. Like that was, I feel like
I've never watched it.
That was the peak of like award shows and award
ceremonies. The skits that they would do, like the one with Jack Black as Spider-Man. Have you guys seen that skit?
I don't think I've seen that skit.
I've never
watched an award show that I wasn't forced to go to.
Interesting.
Like,
I mean, I watched like
famous award shows, like just regular type of like school award like, type shit. No, I just mean like any type of award event in general, where like whether it's like a TV show for like famous people or like.
Did you guys see what happened at the Oscars though? Just kidding.
Anyways, continue with your point, Eric. I don't.
Oh no, I was just saying like the MTV Choice Awards were my favorite to watch. Like, I mean, that was like the biggest thing. Or like the parents, old people care about that shit, and so like growing up, we would watch the Grammys and the Oscars and whatever. And the MTV Choice Awards always had the best skits. They had the best musical guests. They had just the best vibe overall. But that was back when MTV was somebody. So
MTV has
a great production company. But before I don't want to transition that, but while we were on the throwback to last week. Did y'all see the quote where she was like, "I don't need anybody protecting me"?
Oh, you mean Jada Pinkett Smith being an ain't shit bitch once again?
Once again,
crazy. Can you even imagine?
I'm leaving, bro. Alone. I'm gone. I gotta go.
He entered rehab today.
Have you heard the sound that's like, "Put my wife's name back in your"?
No, I haven't. I'm dead. I
saw he entered rehab like yesterday or today.
That was at the Grammys, right?
Rehab for what?
Fucking no, yeah, like because
acting.
Of it, yeah. Who? Will Smith. He entered rehab because of all this shit.
That was the Oscars or the Grammys.
It was the Oscars.
Okay. The Oscars.
I think the biggest
Grammys is music.
Yeah, the biggest tea of the Grammys was Bruno Mars lighting up a cigarette on stage, and they did a clean sweep. Him and
no, it was there was also a comedian that came on stage wearing like a baseball helmet. They said like apparently comedians have to wear these now.
It was Trevor Noah.
Yeah,
no, it was Nate Bargatze.
Oh, you said some comedian. I know he hosted. So
yeah, I just know y'all don't know who Nate Bargatze is.
All I know is from the Grammys, the only thing I really care about is that it's like Supersonic was the group of Bruno Mars and the guy
Anderson .Paak.
Was that Anderson .Paak? Okay,
Anderson .Paak.
The wig threw me off like crazy.
Super.
But they went 4 for 4, so everything that they were nominated for, they won, which is awesome. I mean, really cool. It's really interesting to see how far Bruno Mars has come. Like, I don't know if you guys know a lot about his backstory, but his whole family was like homeless at one point, and they lived in like some rundown abandoned shack.
He got pulled over with like a bunch of cocaine before.
Yeah, I mean he's had a crazy origin story. Like the come up for him and his family is unreal.
I
see where he was, where he is though.
I liked his first album he came out with. I think it's the one with the piano on the front. I don't know, but I bopped that for a while. But I was also really into fucking Mumford & Sons at the time, so I don't know if my musical prowess was at its best at that point.
I like the music that he put out with Anderson .Paak. I didn't listen to the album, but the popular songs that I would hear on TikTok or the radio or wherever, I liked them. I literally have that just singing through my head right now.
Kyle said Wonderwall, and it reminded me because apparently Noel Gallagher, who was like the front man for Oasis, him and his brother, he was in the news recently, or I guess earlier today, saying like Harry Styles ain't shit. I was just like, that's funny. Like,
interesting.
He's like a famously like super bitter, like pretentious rock star in the UK. Apparently at some point, like when Oasis was kind of in their peak, they did some interview and he said that they were bigger than the Beatles. It's like
never.
Yeah, literally
couldn't have
1 to 2 songs max.
Couldn't ever be bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah,
I don't think there are many musical artists I would ever consider to be bigger than
I'd say
the Beatles.
BTS is up there.
I feel like Michael Jackson could be considered.
Just in the aspect of they were both foreign music groups that have made their way into the U.S. and have a lot of influence now.
I don't think BTS will have the longevity the Beatles will have, and that's something that I'll tie into.
I don't know what BTS is.
They're a K-pop group. there's not many people that I could see having the longevity like the Beatles. Granted, music has changed so much over the past 60 years, right? Like, I don't think anybody that has come out in the past 20 years will have the longevity of music from the 60s and 70s, in my opinion.
I don't think anybody will ever, because you have to understand the era. Right now, anybody could be a musician.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got to think how many people didn't get to make it during the 60s and 70s because they had no exposure, which is no longer a barrier of entry anymore, because literally you can live in Grand Prairie, Texas and move to LA and post a fucking SoundCloud and become Post Malone.
Yeah. I just don't
know.
like,
I feel like they're not from the 60s, but Metallica's been along for a stupid long time.
30 years, I'd say.
Like that since like the 80s. Like,
yeah, late 80s maybe. I'm just talking about like the
simple math thing.
Like, you have like, you know, Elvis is still crazy popular, even though he stole his whole genre. But we're not gonna get into
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. I mean, you have like Teddy Pendergrass, and there's just a lot. There's a lot of like R&B from the 60s to 70s era is still incredibly popular. The Beatles.
I think when it comes between
popular.
Music from the 60s and 70s, it was very influential for everybody.
That style of music is honestly timeless. And I think
I personally do not like the Beatles.
10 to 15 years, right? Like, you're still going to
have... I don't like the Beatles either.
You're still going to have POC parents waking up on Sunday at 8 o'clock, and they're going to be turning on that...
a POC parent?
Person of color.
Oh, okay.
They're going to turn on that R&B, that early 70s, late 60s R&B, and you already know what time it is. You better get your ass up and get to cleaning, because that's how it rolls.
Yeah, like, I listen to a lot of oldies. Like, I would say probably like a good third of like my Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
And, like, it ranges from like shit like Otis Redding to like, I guess you could, I mean, at this point consider like Johnny Cash, like oldies. But I mean, stuff older than that. Usually, like, for whatever reason, one of my favorite genres of music is like 50s to like maybe early 70s kind of like love songs. Like that shit just like...
I would have never guessed. I've known you for fucking 8 years. That's wild.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed.
I'm sure Drew knows because he's probably heard me listening to it a bunch of times, but Just the Two of Us has been in my head nonstop.
That's fair. That's a good song.
The last year. But like shit in that type of genre, I also think a lot of that is like influence from Aaron, just because he listened to some of that. And my dad is also in his 70s.
Yeah.
So,
but you don't like Donald Glover's like soulful stuff then?
No, okay. Let me clarify that Donald. I don't think his stuff is. I don't think that album's bad by any means.
Okay.
I just prefer his rap.
Okay.
Like, it was such a large departure from everything else that he had done that I was just like, oh, okay.
It's like when Brand New dropped Heaven or Hell.
I feel like that just comes down to expectations, in my opinion.
Like, for sure. Like,
it was a complete shift of genre.
Yeah, like my favorite Childish Gambino album isn't even like I guess most people's is because of the internet, but mine's like his like the very early shit Royalty, where like he's got a bunch of like he's got like Bun B on songs and like Danny Brown.
I think it would have been.
I just liked that type of rap.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think it would have been cool
with his new
if he had released Redbone as a Donald Glover album. Because then you wouldn't get that shift, right?
Yeah.
He could have almost had two genres of music at his disposal.
Sure.
If he had, I know he was still like a lot smaller than he was because like Atlanta wasn't out. He wasn't doing movies really yet. Like,
I think at the time he was still. I mean, he was crazy big at that point in time. He was huge in the music industry, right? He's pulling more people in because of Atlanta and his acting and whatever. But at that point in time, he was like one of the it rappers in the hip hop industry.
And there's a good chance that his new album is going to be rap,
which is going to be exciting. I agree with Kyle.
It's also his last album, isn't it?
But no, I think
it would have been a cool thing.
Yeah, this album is going to come out is going to be his last album.
But I thought that was the same case for the album that he released after Redbone. That album was supposed to be his last album.
That wasn't really. That was more like an EP than an LP.
EP or some shit.
No.
Like there's some shit that
EPs are
I don't know.
different.
He's just bored in COVID.
We'll see. I don't know if he's gonna. He says he's gonna stop.
Like
I
it was
would have to
just
see his like future projects to
like I
agree with him stopping. Like I have a say in it.
right. Like
It's just crazy what music record, like who does what in music. I think it's crazy to me. Sorry,
sure.
Nathan, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just
But like one of my favorite. Oh, you said go ahead. and then kept talking. One of my favorite music facts that's pretty crazy is that Michael Jackson held the longest #1 Billboard album streak for the longest time, like since it came out. I think it was Thriller, and Post Malone broke it in like 2014.
Post Malone.
That was a banger album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy what music, like
how
who
taste
does what in
change.
music.
Yeah.
Like of all of the people, like just like even like Taylor Swift, like it's so huge, but didn't break it. But then Post Malone did. That's just so crazy.
Yeah,
I think Post Malone came in at the right time though. Like
Yeah.
he came in
He
whenever
came when
pop
the genre was
or
changing.
yeah, whenever hip hop and rap was becoming way more mainstream
Yeah,
than most.
I mean, it also helps that he's like a genuinely likable guy. No, I mean,
I think he's my
just a fun guy.
favorite
Like, I would
celebrity as a person.
I've seen a lot of people.
He seems so authentic.
Yeah, but I mean, so do a lot of other rappers that you don't really ever hear about. But J. Cole, a lot of people are giving his group Dreamville, right? He's got his own like production. A lot of rappers, like big influential rappers, have been giving him props because he just dropped, I guess, a mixtape, an album. I don't know what I would describe it as. I'll say it's an album, but it's basically like a lot of people that are under him, like on his label. He does like a crazy collaboration projects, and they're really cool to see like what he does and who he does it with. And
Yeah, because he just signed somebody who like altogether all of his followers less than like 5,000 people. Like
that does not surprise me.
Like
J.
over
Cole's-
different platforms. Like he
Cole's
just get him
crazy.
because he was talent. He
Yeah.
wasn't like popular or like what was hot at the moment. Like
Yeah.
he was just like, oh, you can spit. Sign
There
on
was
with me.
one song, I think it's called Stick, on the album. I'm not a fan of it, but 21 Savage, I think, is on it. And I'm like, I'm there for any 21 Savage / J. Cole song that's out, I'm going to listen to.
He's my favorite
Not a
UK
whole lot.
rapper.
Yeah, facts.
He's the one who put the diamond into it, right?
No, that's Lil Uzi Vert.
That's Lil Uzi.
That was a $22 million pink diamond. But
I know they all look
anytime
alike, Kyle. But
21 Savage, like 21 Savage is he's a good rapper. He's on the verge of great. Sometimes he's got some good projects. It just depends on what you like to listen to. In his early days when it was like gangster rap, I fucked with that heavy, but I know
that
when he does songs with J. Cole, he steps his game up like 20 times compared to like the shit that he does by himself or the shit that he does with other maybe less
I know a
influential
lot's a
rappers.
banger.
But when he goes on with fucking J. Cole, you know he is putting that pen to that paper and he's getting J. Cole is doing the hip hop checks. He's like, you know what? No, I don't like this bar. Hit me with another one. Like, it's crazy to see the influence that certain rappers
That
have.
song you sent me with Lil Wayne, Childish Gambino, and whoever that chick was, the song right after that has 21 in it. It's a pretty good song.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like, for a second, it's like, oh, is this album like actually good? And then I went to the first song and I was like, no, it's just these two songs. I'll just listen to these two songs. That
There's
happens a lot.
albums like that.
Yeah. Is there an album that anybody here has that they can listen front to back, no problem?
Damn, Kendrick Lamar, and I'll listen to it 3 times
That's a
over
good
back
one.
to back.
Yeah, but
That
it's,
is a
It's
good
such a good album. Oh man,
it's back to like one of my music tastes being like everywhere. There's a band called the Abbott Brothers. They have an album called I and Love and You. That's probably, I can listen to every song on that album.
interesting.
Yeah, it's Your Favorite Weapon for me by Brand New. I can listen to that.
That's a good
album
one.
Back and
Sticks and
forth.
Stones by Newfound Glory I can listen to pretty solidly.
I can do that too.
That's a pretty good album.
Yeah.
Pretty much any Blink-182 album, just because I like them so much, I can just listen to it straight through. And they have so many different vibes, right? Like you can listen to like the self-titled album and get like a vibe, and then you can shirt and jacket and listen to the vibe. Like you can, they have albums are all in the same genre, but like you can kind of have like a slower one or a faster one and a goofier one.
I mean, I could do No Strings Attached, and Singo is a pretty good album too.
Yeah.
It's popped into my mind. So back to the early 2000 days.
The soundtrack to Encanto, I can listen to that the front and back, no problem.
Hey, I'm saying we don't talk about Bruno. You know what it is.
A Day to Remember.
I mean, I steady be listening to the Tony Hawk soundtrack. Like,
that's not an album. I guess it's a soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a soundtrack now. I was in Madden 2003, front back all day, every day. I
that's
listen to it.
That's a mixtape.
right. I guess honestly, I don't really listen to. I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but I don't listen to music like that. Like my playlist usually, like apparently I've been called awful things for this, but I don't like. I'm terrible at creating playlists, so I don't. I just put my liked songs on shuffle, and apparently that's like a thing. I don't know, but yeah, my shit just stays on
radio
shuffle.
stations.
So
I create a bunch of different playlists.
The extent of my playlist is I have an artist and I put all of my favorite songs of theirs in that playlist, and then I'll be like, I have like 3 for Kanye, I have like 2 for Gambino, and then like all my weeb shit is in it, and then like all my country shit is in one. Like,
yeah, no, I do full on genre. I don't think I do like if I like an artist, then I'll just put on like this is Drake, you know, shit. If I want to hear like more of like their later shit than their recent shit, but I do full on genre playlists, and I get into a mood sometimes where like I'll fucking like I just did like a EDM summer vibe 2022 playlist, and it's got like 20 songs in it already.
Doing shit like that.
And they're all bangers, and I fucking roll the windows down in the car, and I'm just vibing. There's a good vibe playlist. No heavy EDM, no nothing, just good vibes.
I can just almost get whiplash while I'm driving in the car.
Oh yeah,
like my music tastes all over the place. It'll go from like listening to like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack to like Dolly Parton to like Wu-Tang Clan, back to like Halo.
Oh, agreed.
Back to like Chris Stapleton or some shit. It's just like, what is happening?
Mine's the same way, but I also have like big band, like marching band music in there too, because I like fight songs from college. So like it would be like the OU's fight song, and then Pocahontas,
fight song, honestly,
and then fucking Childish Gambino, and then Metallica.
I've had this orchestra version of the 90s theme song of the X-Men on repeat for so long. It's so fun.
My playlists don't get that crazy. I just have specific things. Like I'll get into a mood where I want to hear like the Harry Potter orchestra or something like that. Or there's a playlist that I listen to on Spotify, and it's just Winter by Vivaldi fucking slaps is the title of the playlist, and it's a bunch of classical music that gets me hyped as fuck.
Classical music slaps so fucking
on God, it does.
Listen to a lot.
I love
we literally just
music.
went to go see a live orchestra.
Oh yeah,
it's good shit.
A string orchestra.
Where's it taking me to go see a live orchestra play the score of Star Wars Episode 6 while Star Wars Episode 6 is playing?
The official Harry Potter orchestra is coming to the States this summer. I'm thinking about going.
And I will most definitely
there's an actual Harry Potter castle in like Scotland, like wherever the castle really was. Like it's not like the Disney World one that's like you ride through, like you go in it and it's the fucking castle on scale.
I might have to take the trip.
Oh,
is it where they shot the movie?
Yeah.
Might have to take the trip.
Talk about that.
I was telling Natalie, like, we fly free, like this should definitely be a
Kyle,
weekend through.
Let me know. Let me know. I'm in there.
I'll try to send you the video, but it looks fire, bro. It looks so cool, and it's like surrounded by like
floating
hundreds and
candles,
thousands of acres of just open land. Like,
speaking of Scotland, there's a thing you can do. You can buy like a plot of land in a specific area in Scotland and get your title.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
I'm just trying to be Lord.
Unless. This episode is brought to you by. No, it's kidding.
Spinning back to the classical music thing, and I guess just the music thing in general, back to kind of like the Michael Jackson to Post Malone thing. I was driving and I was listening to, home from work the other day, and I was listening to the Moonlight Sonata, and I was sitting there thinking, and I was like,
I'm going to crash my car right now.
Facts.
Cut this motherfucking ear off.
But like, there's percussion in the piece or whatever, but I was wondering, I was just like, at what point in time did music introduce the drum set? Because like there's a certain point where like all the pieces are there, but they're not put together. They're just
1920s.
all played by teams of different people.
I would say the 1920s when
I'm so confused about what you're asking.
like a drum
Well,
set.
no, so
compared
I'm
to-
pretty sure
it's
drums have been around
Well,
since
no, so
like
you
No, I know that, but I'm saying
forever.
you have drums, like they had snare drums, right? Like it's like how you play. Like you don't have a guy on a drum set in an orchestra. You have
Yeah, that's
motherfuckers
what
that
I'm
play the
saying. It's like,
cymbals and
I
motherfuckers
mean
that play
an
the
actual-
timpanis and the motherfuckers that play the snares and whatever. I would say 1920s.
So the drum
I think.
kit, the drum kit was initially created for like jazz, right?
big
Right,
bands.
well, okay, so like this is to the evolution. I was just like curious.
I'm answering your question. So in 1918, the Chicago-based
2 years
Ludwig
off.
Drum Company debuted the Jazzer Up, an all-in-one set with a single bass drum and pedal and snare. So after 1918.
Right. Well, okay. What I was gonna say though is say back when classical music was like popping off, that was mainstream music, right?
Yeah.
So like I would think that obviously the drum set had to be integral to getting to where we are at in like music now, because like when you think about current bands, obviously every instrument that everybody is playing, except for like the electronics, has been around for like fucking ever, like hundreds of years and shit. So
I wouldn't
it's
say that.
curious, like I'm curious on like what part of our social interactions or whatever it switched to being like, we have all of this material, but we're going to use it like this now instead. Like you're going to go like such from like classical music being the mainstream, and now like mainstream music now is I guess kind of like alternative rock, but it's like all the instruments in alternative rock pretty much existed in like a lot of the cases before.
Well, black people got a hold of them, and then we created R&B and the blues, and then we changed the world
I mean,
forever.
for sure. That's
Jazz.
definitely how like rock and roll happened. I'm just like, I just thought it was interesting. Like, it's just
Said
where
blues
my
twice in
train
that
of thought
sentence.
went, where it's just like, wow, that's like humans are crazy, I guess, where like this shit has been around for so long that we've like steady been able to find ways to like reinvent it into ways that are like palatable
Gold?
to the native people.
You said humans, but I heard Cubans, and you're like, we? And I'm like, you're not Cuban, motherfucker.
No, I'm not Cuban.
I was like, we're just identifying. It's like, I'm Korean now, then. What's up?
Gang.
Where's my appa?
I think the most Mexican thing ever happened to me the other day. When I came home, you were listening to fuck. Damn, I can't think of it. You were watching some TikTok that had like a Mexican song playing on in the background.
Suave
And I was like,
Mente.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
no,
my
it wasn't
favorite
Suavemente.
La
I'm
Chona.
blanking on what the song was, but I like remember coming home and I was
El
like, that's
Beeper?
wild. I was literally just singing that song to myself.
It was El Beeper.
One of my favorite
I
like
think it was
TikToks
that
that was
song,
early
but
on that I saw
Lachona?
was
Yeah,
that
Lachona.
chick that wanted to play that Selena song, and she's like play, and then she said it in her like super linguistic Spanish, and then Siri was like, I don't know what you're saying. She was like, play El Capa Toca, like in super like broken white Spanish.
Floor.
No,
Yeah.
did you not see that TikTok where he was just like, it was a dude in his car, and I guess he had Apple Play or whatever's in cars. He's like, hey Siri, sorry if I activated your Siri, but hey Siri, play beady beady bim bum, and then it just started playing Selena, and he was just like, I live in a world, or he's like, I came from a world where I had to roll back my cassette tape with a pencil. He's like, the future is now. And I was just like, yeah, I just knew exactly what he was talking about whenever he did that.
Sort of related side note. The only reason I would ever hope for an afterlife is just to be able to meet Selena.
I hope my afterlife is whatever I do.
And also, if I ever see fucking Yolanda, I swear to God, it's on site. If you're in prison watching this on YouTube,
She gets out
I'm
this
gonna
year.
beat your ass in a couple years.
She gets no. I thought she gets out this year, doesn't
Who
she?
the fuck
I don't
is
think it's this
Yolanda?
year.
She
Yeah,
killed
we're
Selena.
about to trigger the whole world. I know nothing about. I know she's dead.
Yolanda.
Oh,
is
okay,
the-
never mind. I didn't know we were talking about Selena still. My fault.
Okay,
My
I was
bad.
like, oh.
I thought I don't know why, but the first thing my mind went to when you said I'm gonna beat your ass, Yolanda, because I was considering it like a personal, like I'm gonna beat your ass physically.
It was.
the chick
It was
that broke your
very
fucking
personal.
hip. That was the first thing my mind went to.
I don't even know that bitch's name.
Okay,
Yeah.
she gets out March 2025. My bad.
All right. She ain't making it to March 2026. That's just facts.
No fucking chance. Not, bro. Corpus literally put a life vest on the statue of Selena when the last hurricane hit. You think they're not gonna run this bitch over immediately?
It's crazy. I think Houston did the same thing with
Kyle, since
Stevie
you
Ray
didn't
Vaughan.
know, I'll fill you in. You know who Selena is. For our listeners that aren't in Texas, Selena is a very, very popular Mexican pop star from the 90s that was murdered by the manager of her fan club, Yolanda, who, after it being found out that she had been, what's the word?
Laundering money?
Laundering money out of the fan club thing into her pocket. So when they found out, they were going to fire her, and she met Selena at a hotel to like talk about shit, and then she shot her.
Speaking of which, of listeners who aren't in Texas, we have people who will listen to us in Budapest and Victoria, Australia. Budapest, Hungary, and yeah.
We're international, boy! You trying to fly to Texas? We'll host you.
I'm trying to go to Budapest. The fuck are you talking
You're getting invited to. You got Budapest money?
No.
Hopefully the Budapest people got come here money.
I barely got get to work money, Kyle.
Ain't that the truth?
I'd be down to go to Budapest.
How's your new job going? I feel like we haven't talked about it since
We
you've
have
been in
not
there.
talked about it.
You're off probation yet? Has it been 90 days?
No, it hasn't been. I've been there for like a little over. I started at the end of February. I don't want to go into like crazy specific details or anything like that, but I have enjoyed it thoroughly. It is like a massive step up from where I was at, both in the just like quality of the environment as well as my paycheck.
Shout out, Drew.
And
I hate my life.
Yeah. And I'm doing pretty well. Like they have been pretty vocal about like that. Like today they actually even trusted me enough we hired a new chick this week. So like they had her sit with me all day and like kind of like she was shadowing me. I was kind of like training her on shit. So, and even at some point she was like, you've only, cause she did be asking like hella questions, super nice lady, but they were like some of the questions she asked, like I haven't been there long enough to know. So I was just like, I genuinely have no idea what the answer to that question is. So like at
this is how I be doing it. You're not supposed to do it like this, but this is what I be doing.
Like at some point I literally had to tell her, I was like, listen, I've been here for like a month and a half, so like I don't know everything. Like you're asking, like she was asking like just some like very specific questions that I was just like, no shot.
Like on Tuesday,
like, is there more doors than wheels?
PM. Like, how cold does the metal get on the 4th floor? Right. Whatever, because the eastward facing window is where I'm going to be creating my Zen garden.
Basically, yeah. But at some point, she was like, "Wow, you seem like you know a lot," or like, for only being here for like a month and a half. And like while I was in training, my boss did say that like I've picked up on what we're doing the fastest.
Got something up.
Anybody she's trained, and she's been there for like 5 years. So it's like, all right, cool. But at the same time, my last job made me realize that like office jobs and shit, their bar for what they expect you to be able to do is really set pretty fucking low.
Especially, yeah, because I mean, you got to think about the system you have to learn and all this shit. So
yeah,
like, if you're bringing in someone new that's not, you know, with no experience to the field or the system,
especially like depending on their age, where like they may not be as familiar or comfortable with like technology, but it's like it's literally illegal to not hire somebody because they're too old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you can not hire someone because they're not qualified. Like,
for
regardless
sure.
of age, like just because you're an old person that can't do technology
for sure.
doesn't make you more qualified than a young person that can't also do technology. I think it's
bullshit that ageism only works one way and not both ways, but that can be
it doesn't anymore. So you're completely wrong about that. How many 80-year-old social media managers do you know?
Well, no, I mean like in an HR setting, like I can't be like, oh, you're too old, you're a fucking boomer, blah blah blah. That's ageism. But they can't be like, you're too young, you're a fucking millennial, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not ageism.
First of all, you're talking about labor laws at this point.
Yes, that's the point I was making. It was ageism.
But yeah, I was just gonna say like my job overall, like I mean I understand what I'm doing and I did catch on very quickly, but it's pretty fucking easy. Like I'm not the best with technology. Like Drew calls me the most boomer millennial he knows all the time.
100%. It's Natalie. It's Natalie.
Yeah,
Natalie
no, like I just it's not for me. It's just I lack the will to care enough
to do
about like
anything.
fixing something. Bro, I barely have the will to wake up in the morning.
You don't even like The Rock in movies.
Like that, I was gonna say, like, the only thing I don't like about this job is just the fact that I have to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's also
I
because,
love
like,
waking up early.
well, this is the first time in literally my entire adult life, outside of like the 4 weeks of training at my last job, that I've had to wake up this early for any job. So I was just like, damn, this is like a bit of an adjustment, but I do also like having like the rest of my day more, so like that's pretty neat.
What time do you get off for?
I get off at 5, but yeah, like because I don't have to go in until 8, but then I get like an hour lunch that, like, most of the time I just watch some TikToks in my car and take a little nappy nap, go
Be taking
inside.
naps in the car when I drink too much.
Naps in the car hit, bro.
Hit.
I did that shit
You
yesterday.
come back a new person. Like, if you were drunk on Wednesday afternoon is basically Thursday if you take a lunch nap.
bro.
There are some times where I'd be getting out of the car and I feel like so rested that I feel like my body's so relaxed that I feel a little drunk. Like, I get out and I like stumble and I'm like, oof. Like, I hope they don't think I was literally getting drunk in my car on my break or something.
I've had to go into the office like twice this week, and I don't know what it is, but I'll have like a light lunch, and like, I don't know.
Good.
1 o'clock, I can barely keep my eyes open. I was like, on Tuesday, I was damn near falling asleep at my damn desk, bro. I'm just like,
I gotta get a standing desk. I hit my standing desk from like 1:45 to 3 every day.
Absolutely.
You don't get tired. I mean, some of us, like, I hate being sleepy at work. Like,
It's the worst, for sure. I was so tired.
I would rather stand than be sleepy in my chair.
I just took a nap on Wednesday and called it a day in my car. A little 15-minute, put my phone on my chest and kicked back. It felt so good. The windows were down.
I try, but
sunroof open. I was chilling, bro.
We have a parking garage. So that hoe is dark. I park in the corner too. That hoe is dark. When I getting some good sleep.
When I was working from home, I was like steady taking like whole hour naps on my lunch.
That's different though, bro. You're in a bed,
Bro.
my guy.
Dude, it was so nice. I literally.
I curl up on this, or I'll just tilt the damn chair back. I'll lay down on this damn floor right now.
Damn. If I'm taking a nap at the house, my ass is getting up and walking to the bed.
Facts. I would literally every day at like my lunch hour, I would clock myself out or whatever, take my headset off, go to my room, turn the lights on, put on my sleep mask, turn the fan on, set an alarm for an hour, and just fucking drift off to dreamland, baby.
All right, let's call it here, guys. We at hour 15. So it's been episode 19. We made sure to get our intro in. Yeah, rate us high on Spotify, 5-star on Spotify. Make sure to like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that bell. Anybody else want to say anything?
Like button.
Hopefully, we'll be giving.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm coming as well.
Let's not say anything about that because we got to figure out those details. That's what we're about to talk about. So,
all right, bye. Thank you.
Don't fucking worry about it, guys.
It's been
We'll see you next
great.
week.
Bye.
Officially.